When I talk about stabilizing force, what I'm talking about is how likely is it that they're going to end the world, okay? So in terms of like threatened nuclear conflicts, nothing right now would cause the United States to initiate a nuclear war. Nothing. I'm serious when I say there is nothing we are threatening over, nothing we are posturing over. The only thing that could reasonably begin a nuclear conflict from our side of things would be a full invasion of the United States. That is it. That is the only thing. Full on, like, we are being attacked. This is bullshit. No, it's not. You are psychotic if you believe this is a pretty low bar for stability now. Yeah, well, too bad China and Russia can't meet it. The U.S. does nothing to stabilize South America. Oh my God! I'm going, ooh! Oh my fucking God, what is wrong with you people? Do you know what a nuclear war would do? Do you have any fucking idea how high the stakes are with a nuclear war compared to literally any other kind of engagement? Every bad thing you've ever heard America doing would pale in comparison to the consequences of a nuclear war. It wouldn't even be fucking close. Russia threatens to nuke us constantly. That's not what regional stability refers to? Then go! Go to nuked Latin America and convince them that Russia was the stabilizing force after they send a payload of ICBMs into Europe because they're mad that they lost in Ukraine. No, obviously, regional stability is predicated on there being a region that is not nuclear-charred glass. You need a region for there to be regional stability. I'm clearly talking about, like, which country is most likely to fucking end the world. And right now, the United States is just not going to. We're not going to do that. But Russia invaded Ukraine and threatens to nuke the world constantly. China is threatening to invade Taiwan for, and let me be clear, no reason. Well, actually, the reason being that they're about to experience a massive labor dip and they want some nationalist fervor to drum up public support in the absence of a growing economy. So they want to invade Taiwan for that reason. And even though they know that Taiwan has had a defensive pact with the United States for 50 years, which would absolutely risk nuclear war because we are committed to defend Taiwan against Chinese aggression, as we should be. So, like, they're the ones doing this. Right now, America isn't doing anything to threaten global stability in that fashion. What have we done in the past 20 years? Bad things, yes! But in terms of nuclear engagement, we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, two non-nuclear countries, and we've participated in what's going on in Syria with some strikes. Syria's non-nuclear. There are some Russian troops there, but we mostly stay away from them. It's mostly we target like specific insurgent groups, and officially Russia's kind of in the whole thing anyway. Our engagement there has been relatively limited. Nothing nuclear. The U.S. has killed a lot of civilians with drone strikes in Yemen. Yeah, that's not good. But Yemen isn't a nuclear country. Not a nuclear country. The worst thing I can think of is the Trump-Iran thing, but were they nuclear? No. Iran is not a nuclear country. I guess we'll ignore Trump threatening the usage of nukes every 2 minutes. Seriously? First of all, no. Even Trump came even nowhere close. Not even remotely close. I don't know why you're being passive-aggressive with me. Second, he's not the president right now. If Ron DeSantis became president, then I would have a much, much like lower level of I don't know, faith in America's like nuclear stability. And for three, even if he's making these threats, the Pentagon wouldn't go for it. The Pentagon is a relatively non-politically controlled organization, compared at least to like Russia's military, which operates directly at the behest of the Kremlin, and China's military, which of course exists in a one-party dictatorship. The Pentagon is perfectly capable of rebuffing political advances. Do you genuinely think Putin would launch a nuke, or the command would even be followed by the people around him that aren't suicidal? Yeah. Yes. He's completely insane and ego-driven. He's already driven his country and Ukraine to ruin for literally no reason. And the Kremlin is incredibly powerful. He's incredibly powerful. And their systems are incredibly corrupt. Yeah. Do you seriously think that, like, all the stuff from Russia doesn't represent more of a threat to nuclear stability than the United States? The Pentagon is totally beholden to the president? That is absolutely not true. Dylan has convinced me they probably won't. Yeah, they probably won't, but America just won't. I don't understand what chat's getting so upset about. This is not a new take for me. This isn't like a Vaush angry... Like, I've been saying this since the beginning of the Ukraine war, and it's the reason why I think that America should maintain, like, military hegemony. It's specifically because China and Russia both keep threatening nuclear engagement. For fuck's sake, there have been, like, the Russian conflict is happening across the border of multiple NATO nations right now. China is directly threatening to invade a country that we are pledged to defend. Does that not come across as more of a threat to you guys? Then what, bombing Yemen? Maybe those Yemenis caves are actually hiding ICBMs. What, in terms of nuclear stability, there's no comparison. Yes? I don't get you guys. Chat's full of leftist 101 freshmen, but I feel like we've talked about this before, haven't we? It would be more like if the US invaded Belarus or Iran due to the alliance closeness with Russia. Yeah, if we invaded Belarus, then obviously that would be as much of an escalation in a nuclear sense as them invading Ukraine. Iran a little bit less so, but I think it would still be very high up there. New people? Okay, you're right. Okay, really quickly, just so everyone understands. Super quick, okay? All right, here, you're going to learn today, okay? Super quick, then we move on. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, listen. So, here's the thing, okay? America is bad in a lot of ways, but what a lot of lefties fail to appreciate is the fact that there are specific instances in which the United States actually legitimately earns some degree of its exceptionalist reputation, okay? Obviously, the size and strength of our military is one of those things, okay? Like, that's pretty clear. But the other one is the commitment to a global order. The United States is often chastised for being a kind of world policeman, and that is certainly the case. But since especially the end of the Cold War, there has been a great effort from the United States to deliberately scale back the level of threat that we experienced throughout the Cold War. Vaush, how exactly can you be against U.S. imperialism while believing the U.S. should maintain its #1 spot? Listen, and you'll know. Okay. The problem is that world order stability is largely predicated on the stability of the countries that try to initiate it. And I don't know if you guys have heard this. Russia and China aren't democracies. Russia is an oligarchy and China is a totalitarian dictatorship. Both Russia and China have respectively invaded and threatened to invade countries that the invasion of would prompt a significant amount of global nuclear instability. Russia constantly threatens to nuke other countries. Russia's nuclear doctrine includes the possibility of nuking countries after retreating from territories they failed to conquer. Basically, if we can't have this territory, nobody can. China, right now, is engaging in increasingly internal nationalist fervor as a way of compensating for the fact that they can no longer maintain the massive economic growth that the CCP has ensured for its people since the 1990s. The GDP has gone up, but there's a limit to how much you can industrialize in that fashion. The cap-off point has to be somewhere. And what's more, due to their very intelligent reproductive policies, we are about to run into a massive economic slump for China. This is not like a crazy me thing. Like, this is not a Lockheed leftist take. This is a well-acknowledged future threat to the regime. Because the reason the CCP is so popular is in large part because there are so many Chinese people who remember growing up dirt poor during the 1980s. And then the Chinese Communist Party, after Deng, engaged in economic liberalization and the country got a lot wealthier. But that can't happen forever. And if an economic slump happens, the CCP is aware of the fact that the Chinese people, considering the fact that their support of the CCP is predicated on economic growth, might stop liking them. And if they stop liking them, there might be internal unrest. Totalitarian dictatorships do not like internal unrest. So, for those reasons, they're considering invading Taiwan. This is insane. The United States has not engaged in anything even approximating this level of nuclear brinksmanship. It is because the United States and its growth and its power are fully integrated with the systems of power that already exist in this world. If the United States wants to grow more powerful, more popular, more integrated, more connected to other countries, it can take advantage of pre-existing geopolitical and economic superstructures. That's because we are the global reserve currency. Yeah, we have the petrodollar. The US dollar is the global reserve currency. We are the center of the world in terms of the economy. And for that reason, things kind of work out for us. And countries that get along with us also tend to see things work out for them, even during times of instability. I don't think people appreciate how uncommon it is that in the United States we have been so relatively free of tumult, of revolution, of coup, of junta, of dictatorship, relative to other countries around the world. You know, even Europe has had some pretty extensive stints with authoritarianism in ways that we haven't. And a lot of this, I really think, is just because our people, the American people, as fucking stupid as they are, as unimaginably stupid and cruel and pig-headed and fat and dumb and idiot as they all are, the American people do have a kind of core mythology that can be relied upon to guide their behavior, and that is the ideology of American exceptionalism. American exceptionalist ideology is a bad thing, but it is also a stabilizing force in times of uncertainty, because the idea that your country is naturally exceptional can give you the impression that things are going to work out all right. I don't like American exceptionalism. I don't think it's a good attitude or ideology, but it exists and it has effects, and some of them trend towards stability. This isn't going to last forever. I have been one of the loudest voices in saying that America might become fascist sometime soon. And if that happens, everything I'm saying right now becomes bunk. If we become fascist, it will be for the first time in our history that our democracy has properly collapsed. And everything I'm saying here becomes moot, essentially. But insofar as we are not a dictatorship, insofar as we are a democracy, it's important to understand that the paths forward for the American people do not involve nuclear brinksmanship. Our ways forward, our ways to growth, our ways to power don't involve treading that line. Not so with Russia and China. Russia and China are both currently engaged in behavior which suggests that the only way they feel they can maintain global relevance is with nuclear brinksmanship. Threatening nuclear war, global annihilation of all people on Earth, both overtly and implicitly through the invasion of Ukraine, was the path that the strongman Putin decided was the best for him and his country. Which is insane, but it's what they did. And I hope you can all appreciate the fact that China threatening to invade Taiwan, again, purely to distract its own population, to get them riled up with nationalism, even though Taiwan has had a decades-long defensive pact with the United States, even though the United States has explicitly said, we will honor that defensive pact, they continue to threaten war. This is a massive threat to global nuclear stability. An invasion of Taiwan would bring about an unparalleled potential for global nuclear disaster. America is not doing these things. You understand? America may do a lot of bad things, but we are not in a position right now where we feel our path to maintained relevance and power is to literally, threaten to start war with a nuclear power. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how far away we are from that? Think of the nuclear-powered countries that exist on this planet that are not on good terms with us. Imagine if we actually started gunning up for an invasion of China. How psychotic would that be? But despite all the whining of conservatives, it is just not something that is being realistically considered on any level. That is what I mean when I say global stability. I mean that right now, America's path forward as a democracy and a country that is well integrated into existing systems of capital accumulation has no need for that kind of brinksmanship. Russia and China do, or at least they feel they do. That is what I am saying. This has nothing to do with Yemen. This has nothing to do with Vietnam. This has nothing to do with Libya. This has nothing to do with Yugoslavia. This has nothing to do with any of that shit. The potential damage done by nuclear conflict would be so great that historians would not even who would care? The bombings of Yemen. Oh, you mean that thing that happened 9 years before the end of the world? I remember. Oh, that was really bad. They would envy all the Yemenis who were drone striked. They would hear stories. Oh, they got blown up with bombs that didn't poison the land for 1,000 years after. Oh, Daddy, tell me more stories of the bombing of Dresden. You're telling me they just got to die in a fire? They got to die real quick, like there wasn't poison in the air. Tell me more. You know, fucking Yeah, okay. I just... Well, there won't be historians, okay?